Hey guys, it's me Tia. I just want to do a video today just to really show or tell why I decided to go natural. And just to start off, I didn't decide to go natural until maybe over the summer. It's September 2012 right now, but I didn't really start thinking about it till my freshman year of college. I'm a sophomore now, and the at first I was just like so big into relaxers. I mean like straight and long and silky was the just the epitome of beauty to me. Like if it wasn't long and silky then I didn't want it. I just remember like the silk wrap, that was my favorite hairstyle because I really liked the fact that it could blow in the wind, and at one point my hair was like down to here, like it was so long. And I just remember, like in high school, starting from seventh grade, I started getting my hair done on a consistent basis. I got it done twice a week. I got it washed every 2 weeks, and then once a month I got a relaxer. And I just remember I used to hate the taste where I got a relaxer because I'm like, okay, I can't scratch, or else this is gonna be like the worst day of my life. It'll always be after school, so it's like at the end of the day, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get my hair done nice and fresh now. So then, when I get there, like you always have a good day if your relaxer didn't burn the mess out of your scalp that day. So, whenever I didn't have too many scabs or anything, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a good relaxer. And then, of course, you get like the little sores in your head, and then you have to like comb them out, and it looks like dandruff, and people think you have like crazy dandruff when actually you're like, no, it's like relaxer scabs. And so from seventh grade, from age 12 all the way to my senior year of high school, I got my hair done on a consistent basis every 2 weeks. And that was like, well, at first it was like $45 every time, but as my hair grew, then it would be, 50. And then at first my relaxers were $55. And then as my hair grew, it went up to 60. And so all through all that time, it was just like that's the basis. Like you can't get your hair wet, you don't touch your own hair, you always wait for the hairdresser, and make sure your hair isn't too messed up when you go to the hairdresser, or she will have so much to say about it. And then my senior year of high school, when I was going to college, um, I was worried actually because I was like, well, who is going to do my hair now? Because I had the same hairdresser from 7th grade to 11th grade because we moved into a different place and it was a little further. So we found a new hairdresser that was close to our house. And so so pretty much like for most of my like adolescence, transition to adult years, I never really touched my own hair or knew how to do my own hair. And so, as black women, if you're not natural, you're conditioned to think like the way that you take care of your hair is you make sure that your hair is relaxed, scalp grease sometimes, and make sure that you have a flat iron and that you know how to wrap your own hair. And so, I was concerned because I'm like, I don't know how to do any of those things. My hair is going to be jacked up, and I'm just going to look a hot mess when I go to school. And so, for a little while, the way that we did it was whenever I would come back home is when I would get my hair done, or my sister would do my hair. And we make sure that the relaxer sits in for a really, really long time so it can last until like the next break or so, like from Thanksgiving break to winter break, and then from winter break to spring break. So we make sure that it lasts till then, so I don't need to come back home and spend like $112 to ride the bus back home. And so, oh, by the way, I go to college 5 hours from my hometown, so that's why it costs so much. And so, anyway, yeah, so all my freshman year, my hair was straight and it was done. I stayed away from all types of water. Um, I wrapped it every night, and then if I didn't wrap it, my hair would be toe up in the morning, and then I have to flat iron it, and then you have to deal with the roots if you like wrap your hair, and it would look really messed up if you had too much roots. And so Then I guess around maybe spring semester, maybe like around February, March, or April, something like that. The weather was getting warmer. I couldn't really, get away with wearing hats whenever I had a bad hair day anymore because then it would be like smoking hot under there. And then you look weird, of course. And so I just remember, and then I go to a predominantly white college, so it is very few, black people here, so they're not really gonna understand, the whole relax their hair issue thing, immediately unless like you tell a whole life story or whatnot behind it. And so I just remember two of my friends are Hispanic. One is Puerto Rican, and the other is Ecuadorian. So, they have soft, silkier hair. One's more curlier than the other, but the other one has like super long, silky hair. And hanging around with them all the time, I felt like, oh my gosh, my hair is so messed up right now. I need a relaxer. And, it's just like, also for the longest time, like my hair was my source of beauty. If my hair was messed up, I felt like I was ugly. If my hair was not relaxed and straightened or like shiny or blue in the wind, to me that meant that I'm very ugly right now and that there's nothing attractive about me whatsoever. And so then, just being around them, I had my hair in a ponytail for like a month, I think, at that time because I couldn't get my hair done and neither could I afford it either. And so I just remember like feeling so down about myself and telling one of my friends, I was like, okay, I feel so self-conscious right now. Like, I feel like I'm so ugly. I feel like my hair is just so bad. Like, it's just the worst thing ever. And she was like, Tia, I don't see anything wrong with your hair. And it just frustrated me more because I'm like, of course you don't, you don't have my hair problems. You don't know. You have the long, silky Ecuadorian hair that flies in the wind and you can do like this all day and, the hair just, goes along with it. And so I just didn't know what to do and I just felt like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I felt like I started to go natural in different mental stages, if that makes sense. Because at first my plan wasn't to go natural, but I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna try to find a style that looks good with like, I don't know, 3 or 2 months worth of new growth at the bottom, with the rest like straight but dry at the same time. And so I started trying to wear the wet and wavy kind of look, where you just like get out the shower and put some mousse in your hair and then just like put like some oil or something to try to hold the style. And I just remember like the first time I did it, I was kind of self-conscious because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never done anything like this before. And I liked the way that my hair looked wet, but it was just like when it got dry was what I was concerned about because I'm like, okay, if this gets dry, my hair is gonna look like poofy and ugly and just scraggly. And because like with relaxed hair, you don't have the curl pattern, in between the time that you get your hair done. And so if it gets dry, it's like this crinkly, like, I don't know, almost hay look to it when it gets dry. And I was just like, oh, this is so ugly. So I just remember like always thinking about my hair at that point too. And it was just horrible. And then the summer after that, with the summer that just passed, I went home for the summer, and I just remember my parents were like, "What is up with your hair?" And so then, at this point, I was like praying and just trying to like accept that I can't get my hair done and just, just to feel beautiful anyway, because I just want to accept the situation I was in. And so my parents would be like, ew, your hair looks like a mop, it looks horrible, like you need a relaxer, and what is taking so long, this relaxer? And I was like, okay, well, give me one. And then so I just remember like my sister tried to put a relaxer in my hair. And I think the night before I like washed my hair to try to like pre-straighten it because at this point I didn't even comb my hair anymore. Like it was like, oh, it was like a tumbleweed. And so when she tried to put the relaxer in my hair, it burned so bad. It was like acid was on top of my scalp. Like, I just remember, like, that was the first time in a long time I'd actually cried when I got a relaxer. And I'm 19 years old, and I'm like a novice at getting relaxers since I've been getting them since I was like 7, but more closer apart, closer together when I turned 12. So it's like, that's not something that's normal for me, but I was just like bawling, like the tears just coming down, and I was just like tensing up in the chair, and I was just like gritting my teeth, and I was like, this is the worst relaxer I've ever had. And I was just thinking that to myself, and I was just like, at a point, I just couldn't take it because I'm like, okay, my whole head is about to be a scab right now. And so I just begged myself, I was like, please wash it out. Please wash it out right now. And so, we went to the bathroom, and even just like the water just made it feel like it was on fire so much more. Like, it was just like a torture session. And I was even crying and like yelping as she was washing it out. And just even for her to like, go like this to like massage it out, it was like killing me. I was like, I don't know if I can take this. Like, I remember it was so bad. Like, my dad came in the bathroom and was like, what is going on? And I was just like crying, and I was like, at that moment, I thought to myself, I'm never getting a relaxer again. Like, that's it. That is my last one. I will never experience this again in my life. And so that, I guess, was really the start of me going natural, because I didn't, well, not exactly, because, well, that was when my mind process started to change, like, to reject relaxers now, like, for my own hair. And so then I remember, I just left my hair like wet and wavy, and of course my parents still didn't like it, because they grew up, thinking like, well, if your hair is nappy or kinky, then that's ugly, you don't get jobs, and you're not beautiful. And so then I decided to go to a Dominican hair shop, and they like pressed my hair, like with a blow dryer and just with a flat iron, and it was like bone straight, and it was like really nice. And I cut my hair also up to here, and like it hung and it swung and stuff like that. And I just thought it was like the prettiest thing ever. And at that point, I thought that I was just gonna, keep getting that done. And but my hair grew really, really fast. And with the hairstyle, it looked weird because the back of my head was growing faster than the front, so it would be like everything would be like symmetrical, and then I just have like this flap in the back. And then because I also like to play tennis in my spare time. I played tennis in high school. The sweat and stuff made my roots like poof up and get curly again. And I was like, okay, well, I want to get my hair done again, but I couldn't afford it. So it was like, well, what am I going to do now? And so then that's when I started looking into being completely natural and not like, heating it and trying to make it straight and whatnot. And I think at that moment when I realized that I just need to, accept my hair for what it is and stop trying to waste my time trying to meet a standard of beauty that, number one, I cannot afford, or number two, that is taxing on my self-esteem as well. To just go ahead and do you and just rock what God gave you, and not continuously go after something that's not you, and you're spending a lot of time and money and self-esteem trying to achieve. And it's even something that's not even permanent, because I know a lot of black girls have given, because I know sometimes people ask the question, if you could be any race, what would you want to be? I've been asked, people do that sometimes. And so I know some people say like, well, if I had to choose, I would be white because I like their hair. And white people, for those who do have like a naturally like straighter texture, they don't spend all that money trying to get their hair straight. It's like, that's them. And I just think that I got to a point where I had to realize, well, this is me. Like, I can't be that without having some sort of toll on myself. And so then that's when I started transitioning, about, I guess about, technically, maybe, March or June. Yeah, nope, I would say about May because I hadn't gotten a relaxer, when I had my hair pressed out. That wasn't a relaxer. So, yeah, I'll say about May. Um, so, yeah, and then I just decided to transition and, wear, Bantu knot outs all the time. And at first, my plan was to let my hair grow out for maybe a year or two just so it could be like shoulder length because I was like scared to death of having hair shorter than any hanging down whatsoever. But I know just one night I just got really, really tired of also having to keep up my hair again, like to keep up the Bantu knot outs and like sometimes on pink curls. But I'm in college, so that's a lot to do every night to, make your prepare your hair for the next day pretty much. And also it would take like an hour and when you're in college you just don't have time to do that. And so I just got so set in my mind like, all right, I'm tired of this. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go natural, like right now, just right now. Because in my mind, I used to think like, oh, I can't wait till I go natural. But I'm like, I'm just about to do this right now. I just went in the mirror, I looked at it, and at first I was like, well, I'm just gonna start with the bangs, and then just chop and chop, chop, chop. Everything else just went with it. So yeah, well, I hope my reasons that I went natural will inspire you guys, and maybe if you guys can relate, leave video responses, and also tell me some of your thoughts if you're natural or thinking about going natural. Leave a comment down below, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!